Arnold Schwarzenegger details moment he told crushed Maria Shriver about affair. Arnold Schwarzenegger told crushed Maria Shriver the truth of his and Mildred Bina's affair during a 2011 marriage counseling session. In the 75-year-old actor's Arnold documentary, out Wednesday, he recalled their counselor asking a very specific question at his then-wife's request via The Sun. "She wants to know if you're the father of Joseph," the counselor wondered, referencing their housekeeper's son, who was born in 1997. "I thought my heart stopped," the former governor noted in the Netflix special. "And then I told the truth." When Schwarzenegger replied, "Yes, Maria, Joseph is my son," the journalist, 67, was obviously crushed by that. The kindergarten cop star went on to explain that after his 1996 affair, he did not initially believe he was Joseph's father, as Mildred was married to Rogelio Bina at the time. "In the beginning I really didn't know," explained Schwarzenegger, who also shares Catherine, 33, Christina, 31, Patrick, 29, and Christopher, 25, with Shriver. "But the older he got, the more it became clear to me. It was then just a matter of, how do you keep this quiet?" he admitted. When Schwarzenegger came clean about the paternity scandal in 2011, he and Shriver called it quits after more than 2 decades of marriage. "The divorce was very, very difficult in the beginning," the politician told The Hollywood Reporter of the FK Up last month. "Eventually, you move on. She and I are really good friends and very close, and we are very proud of the way we raised our kids." Schwarzenegger joked in May that he and Shriver, who finalized their divorce in 2021, should get an Oscar for doing everything together and giving their 4 kids the least amount of impact post-split. As for Shriver, she explained to Hoda Kotb in February how she re-evaluated every aspect of her life after the cheating came to light. "I asked myself, what was my role? What could I do better? What had I done that put me in that place?" She shared on the Making Space podcast, "I did everything that was available that I could find to myself." Catherine, Christina, Patrick, and Christopher, for their part, do not have a relationship with Joseph. The 25-year-old does, however, maintain a close bond with their dad. Arnold Schwarzenegger says heaven is a fantasy. "We won't see each other again after we're gone." The former California governor is also expected to get candid about his trials and tribulations in a new 3-part documentary, Arnold, which begins streaming on Netflix on Wednesday. Arnold Schwarzenegger is giving his own meaning to heaven and death. The 75-year-old actor approached the topic after being asked by Danny DeVito, 78, "What's in the future for us?" during an in-depth conversation for Interview magazine. "It reminds me of Howard Stern's question to me. Tell me, Governor, what happens to us when we die?" I said, "Nothing. You're 6 feet under. Anyone that tells you something else is a effing liar," he said. I said, "We don't know what happens with the soul and all this spiritual stuff that I'm not an expert in. But I know that the body as we see each other now, we will never see each other again like that," continued Schwarzenegger. While the former bodybuilder added that death is a topic he feels uncomfortable with, he shared that heaven, in his mind, is a fantasy. "When people talk about, I will see them again in heaven, it sounds so good, but the reality is that we won't see each other again after we're gone. That's the sad part. I know people feel comfortable with death, but I don't," he said, revealing that he's lost 15 friends in the last 20 or so years. From within the bodybuilding industry, Schwarzenegger shared that he's given a new definition to heaven. "To me, heaven is where I put a person who I love dearly, who is kind, who is generous, who made a difference in my life and other people's lives," he said. "I keep them in a spot in my head, like that front row that you have of all of your friends. And you always have a good feeling when you think of them." Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from juicy celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. The former California governor is also expected to get candid about his trials and tribulations in a new 3-part documentary, Arnold, which begins streaming on Netflix on Wednesday. According to an official synopsis, the docuseries chronicles Arnold Schwarzenegger's journey from the countryside of Austria to the highest echelons of the American dream, and contains interviews with Schwarzenegger, along with friends, foes, costers, and observers.